Hi, everybody. Good morning and welcome. My name is Palace Dame, and I am the founder and CEO of the Conscious Leadership Network. And this is my amazing, wonderful business partner and co-founder of the CLN, Miss Nisha Zachary. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Nisha Zachary, as Palace said, the COO of the Conscious Leadership Network. I am a systems strategist, and I help those people who are in that esoteric, shall we say, space to put systems in their business so that they can make their businesses run so much more efficiently.
All right, awesome. And then here's Dawn Phoenix. Dawn, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself today?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Dawn Phoenix, and I am a life purpose coach, among other things. And when I work with people in the life purpose coaching space, I use different modalities like hypnotherapy and energy medicine to help people be guided to their purpose in this life. And that is what I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have some great questions to go over with you today, and really looking forward to going deeper and learning more about you. So my first question for you today is, how have your life experiences taught you to do the work and serve the world in the way that you do?
So I started out way earlier in my life, about 20 years ago, as a teacher, elementary school teacher. And then I had my son, and I was a stay-at-home mom for 8 years. And during that time, I was feeling like, okay, this is similar to teaching because, parents are the first teachers for their kids. But I knew there was something else I needed to be doing. And so I was getting a little restless around the time he went into kindergarten. And at that point in time, I had my spontaneous spiritual awakening, and that shifted my world completely. And all the ways that I have been throughout my life, being an empathic person, being very sensitive, being very intuitive, they all kind of came to a head, and I understood why I was here on the planet. I was here to be a healer and to work with people to help empower them in ways where they have given away their power to other people in their lives, situations that have occurred in the past where they're stuck in trauma and it's holding them back. And throughout it unfolded over a couple months of what my purpose was, but I knew right away that there was something I was here to do to help other people with their healing processes. So my life completely changed once the universe unfolded my life purpose to me. And I left my marriage, and my son, we agreed that he would go live with his dad because we wanted him in one place full time. And that was what was best for him. So it was a group agreement, and everybody was on board with it, and it was beautiful. And I was able to start living my life purpose, building my business, becoming a clinical hypnotherapist, getting into the energy medicine work that I do, so that once I knew, okay, this is why I'm here, I only did the things that aligned with my purpose. So that's how I got started doing what I do now.
Wow. So I have a question about only doing things that are aligned with your purpose. How have you actually, that's tough, to really keep your eye on the ball, have that single point of focus with that. How did you really get to that point, and how would you encourage others to do the same? And when it comes to following their passion and really dialing in what's important to them?
Yeah, great. That's a great question, Palace. Listen to your body, listen to your intuition. Our bodies give us signals when there's something that excites us. And there's a saying that someone named Bashar, he says, follow your highest excitement. So if you're thinking about, there's something I'd like to do, let me just sit here a second and think about it. If you just sit there and think about it, you feel, how does your body feel? Is there tightening in your body, or is there kind of butterflies in your stomach? Do you get excited? Are you feeling yay? Your body will tell you yay or not. If there's a no, it's kind of like a sinking feeling in your stomach. It's called a sacral response. And then also listen to your intuition. Like, it's that very quiet little whispery voice in the back of your head that's so easy for us to ignore, but it's so powerful. So when you come across something, usually, unless you're the type of person who needs to sit with something for a while before you make a decision, usually you'll get the information that you need, whether or not it's aligned with you or not, from your body and from your intuition. So it's all about stopping and tuning into yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's terrific. I think that right now in today's world, that is something that is missing for a lot of people, like being able to tune into that part of themselves. So when people are in the midst of chaos, like we are right now, what do you suggest? If somebody came to you, they're like, oh my God, my brain has basically stopped working. How do I come back to me and show up in the world and actually feel happy, actually feel some joy or feel some grounding, like at the basic starting point? How would you work with somebody in that regard?
So the first thing I always tell people is breathe, and is breathe consciously. So sit, close your eyes, and just take a couple deep breaths where you inhale really nice and deeply, and then you just exhale. And that's the bare minimum of what you need to do. And what that does is it elevates the oxygen levels in your brain and then throughout your body, and that quiets your overactive nervous system, and your body will stop producing the stress hormones, and it will start producing the endorphins that make you feel better. So even just by breathing, if you can add in imagining that you're breathing in light, and then when you exhale, you're exhaling anything that doesn't serve you. So if you are stressed out about what's going on in the world or something that happened in your life, just imagine that you're exhaling that, whatever it is, like that feeling that doesn't serve you and makes you feel yucky and tied up. So that's definitely a starter, is just breathe mindfully, even if it's just for 10 or 20 seconds. That's a great start. And then if there's more time that someone has, I will suggest, if they're wanting to do something independently, to go walk or sit in nature. And even if, or near nature, if they live in a city where they can't get out to nature very easily, then I suggest being near a plant or holding a rock, something that is from nature, and that's pretty easy to come by. And if you can't even do that, just sit on the ground and feel the Mother Earth support underneath you, and do that while you're breathing. And those two simple things that people can do independently are amazingly powerful to shift that stress.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. I know those kind of things really work well for me. So that's great advice. Thank you. So I have another question for you. What is one myth around the work you do that you would like to debunk?
So part of my work involves hypnotherapy. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and sometimes people have the misinformation that when you enter into the state of hypnosis, you are giving up your power to the person who hypnotized you. And I think a lot of this misinformation, it kind of circles around the stage hypnotists who do it for entertainment purposes, because you see people on stage doing things or acting in ways that they normally wouldn't. And so the automatic assumption a lot of the times is, oh, the hypnotist is making everybody do this. And that is actually completely untrue. Nobody can ever make you do anything you don't already want to do on some level. Our survival instinct is too strong. We're programmed to only do things that we actually want to do. We're not programmed to be controlled by other people. Our brains don't work that way. They simply don't do it. So when you see the people on stage doing those activities, it's because they are giving their permission to be doing it on some level. They're okay with it, even if, on the subconscious level, even if they find it embarrassing later, they were giving their permission to do it by interacting. So that is completely a myth, that you do not ever you don't give up your power. You don't give up your power when you are put into the state of hypnosis. So I have had clients in my hypnotherapy practice when we were, still seeing people in person, where they would be in trance and we'd be doing the work for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. So they're pretty good. They're set in what they're doing. And they'll just pop up and be like, I have to go pee. Okay, great, go pee. And so, their body told them what they had to do. The conscious mind is always observing everything that's going on. So the conscious mind went, okay, body, yeah, we need to go do this. And they wake up. They're able to pull themselves out. And then when they come back, they just pop right back into the state of trance with very short, what we call induction, those steps that we put them back in. So you're always in control. That's the definite myth buster, I'd like to say. You're always in control.
Okay. All right. That's great. Yeah, I know that, in talking with people in the past and before I'd ever had any kind of hypnosis, I was like, what is that session going to look like? What is that experience going to be? Is that a demonstration that you can do live, like on this kind of episode like you're having with us today? Or does that have to be something like that's a one-on-one in a more intimate setting?
Well, what we do, yeah, there's something I can do live. We have, when I have a consultation with someone, because all hypnotherapy is giving suggestions. That's all hypnosis is giving suggestions. And then the receiver decides whether or not they want to take the suggestions. So a lot of the times what I'll do with people in my consultations to see how suggestible they are, if they're an appropriate candidate for hypnotherapy, is we have a couple of exercises. So I can do one here with you too if you want. I'm not going to put you into a trance, but this is a way that we can show how the imagination is more powerful or as powerful as reality. Are you willing to be my guinea pigs?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So all you have to do is just close your eyes, and I'm going to ask you a few questions when we're done about this experience. So, and anybody watching can try this too. So just go ahead and close your eyes and imagine that in front of you, you have a lemon, and there's a plate, and you can put the lemon on the plate, and imagine that you have a knife where you can cut that lemon into quarters. And as you're cutting it, just pay attention to any information that you're getting about the sight or the sound or the smells that are coming from the action that you're doing right now. And then what I'd like you to do is you can put down the knife and pick up one of the quarters of the lemon and put it in your mouth. And then you can put it down. And then just pay attention to what happens then when you do that. And then you can go ahead and open your eyes. So
that's kind of cool.
Palace, you had an interesting reaction with the lemon. Go ahead and tell me what you experienced.
It was very, very real for me. I think I've done mindscape training and having kind of creating your own brain gyms and things like that. So for me, it went very quickly into like the experience of real life, of like even feeling the texture of the lemon and the knife going across and having resistance, like how that would feel through the skin and then through the pulpy area. And then going through the process, smelling it, the pungent, it was really very, very distinct, and having the actual reactions, like kind of the saliva kind of kicking in that way, and then the tasting. So it was a very realistic experience for me.
Awesome. And it shows that you've done a lot of work around the imagination and the mindscape, because you had right off the bat that very visceral experience of it. So awesome. Cool. All right, Nisha, how about you? Anything you want to share?
Oh, I could just feel the mouth watering, but I love lemons, so there wasn't a strong reaction because I already like them.
Yeah, and so this is an easy way that we gauge whether or not people are suggestible, So both of you would be candidates for, hypnosis because you're willing to take suggestions and you get a response.
Mhm.
So, and it also tells how you receive information because what I gave you is visual information, but then you can turn it around and you can get sensory information like the smells and the sounds and the touches, how the visceral. So that tells me how you take information in. So when I'm working with you, that tells me the languaging that I need to use when I'm speaking with you. Some people are more auditory. Some people want me to describe more visual of what's going on or more tactile descriptions.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's really cool. Thank you for doing that.
Sure. Thanks for playing the game.
Absolutely. Okay, Nisha, why don't you take it from here?
Okay, so Dawn, you and I have talked extensively. So I'm curious because we're in January and a lot of people are focusing on purpose and like what's next. After the year we've had, like where do I go from here? And so I'm kind of curious, like what's one problem that you can uniquely solve for these people? So like, why would they come to you?
Well, especially after this year, I think a lot of people have had shift in their lives where maybe they were going on one career track or had one particular job. And with COVID, maybe that company closed for good, or they had to shift into something else to, take care of their kids at home if they had to do, virtual learning. So there's been a lot of shift. And I think it's sort of jumbled everybody and made us feel like we're kind of floating around in the sea going, I don't know what's going on. And so what I have had that experience in my life when I had my awakening. And so the whole concept of feeling, that you're kind of floating around without a specific goal in mind or a purpose to your life, that's difficult to deal with. And you can be more stressed out and you can have health issues and sleep issues when you feel like you're just floating around without an anchor. And so what I'd like to do is give everybody the anchor that they already have, but they're not aware of. So these are the people who don't know what their life purpose is, but they know that there's something else that they feel like they need to be doing. So the way that I work with people is through the experience that I had myself, was learning how having your own anchor is so vital to basically, your mental and emotional health. So I really want to help people discover. I don't tell anybody anything. I help them discover from within what their purpose is. So I just want to give everybody a safe place to just be and come back home to who you are and have that space where you can stand still amidst the storm.
I like that. One thing that you mentioned earlier, and I think you just alluded to it again, was that their life purpose unfolds to them. It's not something that you direct. It's not something that you help them create. It's already within them. So knowing that it's already within them, what results do you help people create?
So when people have discovered their life purpose, and we go through this a number of ways, once they've discovered that, then they look at their life and they decide, okay, here are things. It's kind of taking stock of what's going on in your life. So you have to be open to the possibility of change, because that's when you see results, is when there's change. So people who work with me to tap into their life purpose, then who are willing to take the next steps that they need to, and they decide what those steps are, they will often either change what they do as a career or bring in something else. Say they're an entrepreneur and they're trying to figure out, or they're an aspiring entrepreneur and they're trying to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here? I want to own my own business, but I don't know exactly what to focus on. So a lot of the times that helps people who want to focus on something for their own business, to put it out into the world. It helps them decide, this is what I want to do. So either they can shift completely into doing that for their work, or they can add it on the side while they work on their current job that they're in until they can support themselves with their own business. So people, when they work with me, they tap into their natural gifts and talents, the unique qualifications that only they have. And a lot of the times when someone is working in, a job that pays the bills, that does not allow them to utilize those unique talents that they have. So they're able to think, oh, okay, well, now I know I've identified what my skill set is that nobody else has but me. And then they look into their life and see, this is where I can infuse it, whether it's through volunteer work and it fulfills them that way. I want to work with animals. I love animals. I'm going to go volunteer at the local humane society. Or maybe they discover that they feel like they're interested in the healing modalities. Then maybe they'll take a Reiki class or some other form of healing modality. So it helps them start bringing in ways to let their own unique gifts and talents shine. And it really affects not only them, because they feel happier and they feel like I'm here serving my purpose, and that's what we're all here for. But it affects everybody around them, because when they're happier and more fulfilled, then everybody in the household or friends of those people, they get to interact with that energy, and it's contagious. And so it's kind of like, I like to say, it's a game of tag. When one person learns their purpose and taps into it, then their purpose in the world, when they share their gifts and talents, sometimes it's like, oh, when they share their gifts and talents, they're playing tag and they tap somebody else and that person gets to do it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like that. So I have a question for you, just like as you're talking about how this affects the people around them. So what about those people who know that, like, after having gone through all of this, like, it's time for a pivot? Like, I've talked to several people, like, last year showed them, like, time to clean slate, but they know that the people around them are not going to like their pivot because they've been keeping other people comfortable by, like, sitting in a certain space. So what do you say to those people when they come to you?
Okay, so yeah, that is really good, because that's a lot of the times we bump up against resistance, and I did too. My family has disowned me because of the work I do. They said it's not mainstream, and basically it's bull, and we don't know how to deal with it. And I was so strong in my convictions that I said, okay, love you, bye, because that's not how it works. You can here live your life and not please other people, not to put too fine a point on it. So when people work with me, because of the ways that we tap into life purpose and soul origins, you know who you are on a soul level, and that is stronger than anything that anybody outside of you can try to push on you. So people will start to be so strong in their convictions of who they are that either the people who are putting the pressure on them to not pivot, they will simply fall away because they don't resonate with that energy, and they fall away. Or if necessary, the people who are having the pivot will just say, hopefully lovingly, this is my boundary, and if you don't accept it, then there's the door, but I'm sorry, this is who I am, and I know it.
I like that. Yeah,
it gives them strength and conviction to do that.
I like that. Awesome. All right. So I know you have a program coming up. Do you want to tell us about it?
Sure, yeah. So this week, this Thursday, the 14th, and also on Saturday, the 16th, I am holding a workshop, and I have links for all these goodies if we want to put them in the chat or whatever later. So this workshop it's called Tools to Uncover Your Life Purpose. And in the workshop, I'm going to give everybody who attends, and it's free, I'm going to give everybody who attends, we're going to take time and I'm going to guide you through questions and exercises that help you uncover your purpose. So anybody who attends the workshop is going to walk away either knowing what their purpose is or having a much stronger sense of the direction that they want to go in. And that's sort of my gift, is here's how you can uncover really what you're here to do. And there are some easy ways that you can try to bring more of that into your life, in small digestible pieces without creating huge change right away, because that can be shocking.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And so the workshop is free, and then my program, and after the workshop, I'll talk about my paid program, and that is called Life Purpose Mastery. And that's a 6-week program, and it begins on January 28th. And everybody who goes to the workshop will get an invitation, and anybody on my mailing list will get an invitation to join that program. So each week we'll meet for 1 hour, and I will be using the different modalities that I practice, whether it's hypnotherapy or energy medicine, to first align you with your soul purpose in this life. And then once you have identified what that purpose is, then the other remaining weeks that we have, we start you on the road to taking the first steps to fulfilling your life purpose. And we do it as a group, and there will be a Facebook support group, and we can have accountability buddies in there that you can set up, outside of the class time, where if there's a goal that you want to meet, you can choose an accountability buddy from the program to work with, and you can, be accountable to each other. So that is sort of in a nutshell what the program is about.
I love that.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe we could even make you an accountability group inside of the CLN. Then your folks can come and expose your area too.
Yep, because it's all about support.
Yep, all sorts of options. Awesome. That sounds amazing. That sounds beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, Palace, do you have any more questions?
Let's see. I guess how far are we here? 28 minutes. That's good. I guess maybe can you give a snapshot of what a session would look like with you?
Now, are you talking about a session just,
like,
if someone wanted to book a hypnotherapy session or energy medicine?
I guess maybe if somebody were coming to you, what could they expect from kind of that progress? Like, how many sessions do you typically work with somebody? What does the package kind of look like if somebody were to work one-on-one with you? What would that journey be? Since it's less, it's not mainstream the way that you do things, it's coming in as a life coach, but bringing in those spiritual elements. Like, what might that look like for somebody who's wanting to go deeper and explore?
So yeah, if someone wants to work, one-on-one with me, then usually I would say it takes anywhere. Hypnotherapy is pretty quick, and energy medicine is gentle, and also it's quick, but it's subtle. So we've got it at both ends. So in general, it's about anywhere from 3 to 6 sessions per, I don't want to say issue, but per topic that the person wants to focus on. So let's say someone comes to me and, maybe it's not necessarily about life purpose. Maybe they say, well, I would like to know, about improving relationships in my life. Sometimes I feel that I don't connect well with people. So, and it can be romantic, or family, friends, things like that. So, the purpose of this session might be to help people, can learn how to connect more on a human level. So if we're going to work on something like that, then the first thing I always try to do is connect people with their higher self. So the first session, we will connect the person to their higher self through that's a hypnotherapy session, and they would get wisdom and advice from their higher self. And the higher self is what we're actually becoming as we shift from the fourth dimension into the fifth, but we're not there yet. So we still need sort of a go-between to let us access who we are and our higher self. So I bring you through a process where you access your higher self and you get advice on, if this is the session, we're working on more of human connections. Your higher self will give you advice from their compassionate, higher level, where they're not tied by the emotions and dramas that we deal with down here, on our earth plane.
Right.
So I always find that to be an incredibly powerful starting point to connect you to that aspect of yourself. And that resource is we bring that resource with us throughout the other sessions that we have as sort of, I'm a guide on the side, and your higher self is a resource that you bring with you into the activities that we do. So that's going to be usually the first step is to connect you with your higher self. So it's different for each individual. I don't have a specific, exact schedule of what we do, because sometimes people do, depending on what comes up, as if someone has problems, connecting with other people, depending on the reason around that, and the higher self knows the reasoning, and our subconscious mind holds the memories of every lifetime we've ever had. So if there's a trauma that happened in childhood, we go back and we work with that. If there's a trauma that happened in a past life, and the higher self knows, we go back and we do a past life regression. So it's going to look different for everybody. It's not one size fits all, but the goal is to bring awareness of your own power to make the changes that you want to make in your life. And whenever I work with people, the result is always when they walk out the door, or in this case, when they are done with the session, they always go, wow, I didn't know that I was capable of that. I didn't know I could do that. And to me, that's the most rewarding thing, for people to understand just how powerful you are as the creator of your reality.
Right.
So that's always the end result, is feeling more empowered and feeling that, no, we don't have control over everything in our lives, but there is a power that we hold within us that for so long has been stifled, that it's our duty to awaken it. And so that's the result that people see when they work with me, no matter why they're coming to me.
So do you do your work, is it all online? Do people come to see you in person? How does that work
It's
for you?
online now because of COVID. It's more difficult to meet in person. I'm in the transition where I'm going to be moving from one state to another. So I tend not to do a whole lot of local work. I wouldn't turn my nose up at it, but as of right now, yeah, all of my work is on Zoom, because it allows me to serve a greater population, a global population.
Right.
And the work that I do, all of it, the energy medicine and the hypnotherapy, everything is just as powerful over a distance as it is in person, because whenever anybody's with me, regardless of if they're having energy medicine work or if they're having the hypnotherapy, their eyes are closed and they're in a quiet, receptive state. So.
Got it. Okay. And then how could people reach you? How can they find you?
Okay, so we can definitely include these links, but I have a website, and I had to break it up a little bit with the name. So it's Dawns, DAWNS, and then a hyphen, and then Light, LIGHT, and then a hyphen, and then House, HOUSE.com. So that's my website, and that talks about all the different modalities that I use and the work that I do and how you can get in touch with me. I also have a Facebook page, and that's Dawn's Light House, and light and house are 2 words. And I'm also on LinkedIn, and you can find me by looking up Dawn's Light House. And I also have a YouTube channel because there's other work I do outside of the coaching realm where I'm a channel for higher dimensional beings, and I put some of those videos up. So on YouTube, that's also Dawn's Light House. And I think those are all, and I have an email address too. And that is Dawn's Light House 2014 at gmail.com. And all of that's on my website too. So yeah, those are the ways you can get in touch with me.
All right.
Awesome.
Terrific. Well, I posted those in the comments, so they are there for posterity's sake. So you'll be able to see that and connect with you. So great. And for everybody that's watching, Dawn is now also one of the hosts in the Conscious Leadership Network, and that is another space where you would be able to connect with her and find her. For the Conscious Leadership Network, you can find us there at community.consciousleadershipnetwork.org. And we'd love to see you in there as well. Is there anything else you guys would like to cover before we wrap up today?
No, just thank you for joining us today, Dawn. It was great talking to you and getting to kind of experience like where your process starts.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been beautiful.
You're welcome. So for everybody that's watching, be sure to like us, be sure to follow us, be sure to go out and find Dawn, follow hers as well, and comment and all that good stuff. And join us in the Conscious Leadership Network for more of all this great stuff. So thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.